Welcome to the theater at Westmont High School. Before the show begins, please take a moment to observe the nearest exit. In the event of an emergency, walk to the nearest exit, leave the building through that door, and then proceed directly to the parking lot. Please do not stop until you have reached the parking lot. Remember, there is no eating or drinking anything other than water in the theater. To ensure the safety of our actors, flash photography is also strictly forbidden during the performance. Please keep your feet off the chairs, off the stage, and off the mezzanine ledge. And finally, kindly silence your cell phones. Thank you and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the principal of Westmont High School, Mr. Jason Miller.
All right, good evening. Let's give one more round of applause to the Branham High School Jazz Ensemble. And welcome to Westmont High School. I am Jason Miller, the principal here at Westmont High School. When I was first asked to introduce our superintendent, Dr. Bravo, I thought it would be cool to reference a popular song from the year I graduated. It was 1989. I remember listening to Queen, AC/DC, Bon Jovi, to name a few. And then I asked myself, what was the most popular song in June of 1989? Believe it or not, it was The Wind Beneath My Wings by Bette Midler. Not exactly what I was expecting. When I first stepped onto this campus in 1985, there I am. I don't know where they found these pictures. I never expected to be standing up here 35 years later as a proud principal of this amazing school. I am here because of the connections that I had with the great teachers and staff at Westmont High School. In high school, I was your average student. Although there were only 1,000 students on campus back then compared to the 1,700 that we have here now, I could have easily been overlooked. However, I connected with teachers and administrators who saw potential in me, who cared enough to encourage me to keep working, who corrected me when I was wrong, and who praised me when I succeeded. Teachers with whom I still keep in touch with today: Coach Gary Brink, Joe Volpe, my math teacher, and Rick Costanzo, former principal, also a board member, who was my history teacher in high school. Administrators like Dr. Rhonda Farber, who encouraged me to excel in sports and keep up on my studies. When I graduated in 1989, I had the tools I needed to face what was ahead of me. By the time I graduated from college, I realized what I wanted to do with my life. Because of the teachers who had inspired me, I knew I wanted to teach. Other districts had opportunities, but Westmont kept calling me back. In 1997, I returned to Westmont as a teacher. My mentors were now my colleagues. I taught for 8 years right alongside Coach Brink, who continued to mentor me. He trained me on how to be an athletic director, which I did for 3 years before I became an assistant principal, and now the principal of Westmont High School. I have always felt connected to this community, whether I was a student, a teacher, or an administrator. And I want our current students to feel connected as well. For example, this year, Westmont teachers have selected 3 or 4 of our DNF students to mentor. In the fall semester, 62 students improved their grades from last year. I was extremely proud of my teachers after seeing that data. Making a personal connections with students is still working. Our superintendent is leading us towards data-driven goals, towards making measurable improvements for our students across the district. So as I'm proud to introduce someone who cares about student achievement and knows how important connections are to achieving that goal. Please welcome our Campbell Union High School District Superintendent, Dr. Bravo.
Well, good evening. Thank you, Principal Miller, for that introduction, and thank you all for coming. Your support of our schools is going to be crucial as we continue the important task of preparing students for their futures. I want to take a moment to recognize the elected officials who came out tonight, and I understand that they may be spread around, so I'm going to ask them to stand and put a hand up for folks. Santa Clara County Supervisor Susan Ellenberg. Oh, she's in the back. San Jose Mayor Council Member Pam Foley. San Jose City Councilman. Campbell Mayor Susan Landry. Senior Field Representative for State Representative Anna Eshu, Baltazar Lopez. Field Representative for State Assemblyman Evan Lowe, Juliana Park. West Valley Community College District Board Member Randy Kinman. And the trustees, my bosses, the Fabulous Five, Board President Kayleen Gallagher, Trustee Christina Arrowsmith, Trustee Stacy Brown, Trustee Linda Goitia, and Trustee Robert Verich. We also have some of our leaders from educational partners here. I believe that West Valley Community College District Chancellor Bradley Davis is here. Yes, he is in the back. Santa Clara County Office of Education Superintendent Dr. Mary Ann Dewan. And I'm sorry, this is out of order. I think we have a Saratoga City Council member, Manny Capello, here. Yes? There he is, right there. So as we celebrate 120 years of Campbell Union High School District, creating new possibilities for our students, it's important that we recognize the strong community that we've built. Many of our teachers and administrators have similar stories like that of Principal Miller. Please stand if you were a student in our district and have returned as a staff member or a board member. And thank you for your commitment to CUHSD. Not only do we have a strong community within our staff and students, but we have a strong alumni base who stay connected to our district. Let's give all the alumni in the audience a round of applause as well for their continued support to our schools. To mark 120 years as a school district, let's take a look back to see how far we've come. On the screen behind me is a photo of Campbell Union High School, the first high school to open its doors as part of Campbell Union High School District. The school consisted then of just 35 students, 2 teachers, and the first graduating class had just 1 student who went on to graduate from Stanford. When the school was founded in 1900, the citizens did not think it was necessary to actually provide a separate high school facility. So the first principal, J. Fred Smith, in 1903, convinced President Theodore Roosevelt to visit the proposed site and plant a redwood tree. His plan worked. The attention that he brought to the site led the community to build the new campus in 1904. And for those of you who love history, you can see that shovel on display at the Campbell Historical Museum. And now let's fast forward to the 1970s when the district hit its peak enrollment after the baby boom. The district served at its high point 15,700 students. Then in the 80s, enrollment declined and the district closed Campbell, Camden, Blackford, and Branham High Schools. But fortunately, Branham High School was able to be reopened in 1999. Today, Campbell Union High School District is in another period of growing enrollment. The district serves more than 8,500 students from San Jose, Campbell, Los Gatos, Saratoga, Santa Clara, Monte Sereno, at 5 comprehensive high schools, a continuation high school, an adult education program, and a program for adult students with disabilities. Now that we've taken a look back on the district's history, I'd like to share the accomplishments that we are currently celebrating as we continue to make progress towards the goals spelled out in our strategic plan. The Board of Trustees approved this plan in 2018, and it continues to be the driving force behind our success. And they have set our purpose as this: to enable students to construct their futures. We are rapidly making improvements to our school facilities because of the community support of Measure AA in 2016. Through rigorous local oversight, we have already completed more than half of the planned building projects in just 3 years, saving taxpayers money. In contrast, the previous facilities bond took 10 years to complete. This year, we opened new 2-story classroom buildings at Lee and Branham High Schools. We've opened new swimming pools at Westmont, Del Mar, and Branham. We will soon have a brand new student union building at Prospect High School, pretty fancy, and a new library at Del Mar High School as we continue on focusing on the modernization of our learning environments for our students. And as we do this work, we pride ourselves on being responsible fiscal stewards on behalf of the community. We consistently earn excellent reports from independent auditors and outstanding bond credit ratings, which help us stretch the public's dollar further. For the first time, Campbell Union High School District ranked in the top 20 of best school districts in the Bay Area, according to the school and neighborhood review website, niche.com. The ranking is based on analysis of reviews and other factors, including state test scores, college readiness, graduation rate, and SAT and ACT scores. And results from a recent poll indicate the district's job satisfaction rating is the highest that it has ever been. The recent release of the Fall 2019 California School Dashboard, which is the state's accountability system, provides another measure of the district's strengths and areas of improvement. The dashboard provides a 5-level rating system, of red being the worst rating you can get, and blue being the best. We're proud to see that our district received the second highest color rating of green in all 5 areas: graduation rate, suspension rate, college and career readiness, English language arts achievement, and math achievement. And this is an improvement from prior results. Let's zoom in on one of these areas further. The College and Career Indicator attempts to measure how well we prepare students for life after high school. This indicator factors in multiple data points beyond test passage and graduation rates. If we take a closer look at our college and career readiness indicators, we do have important things to celebrate. And in particular, we have more students going to college directly after high school than ever before. Not that you have to go to college right after high school, but if you want to, we need to make sure that you have that opportunity. I'm particularly pleased to see the progress we've made in this area for our traditionally underserved student groups, English language learners, or students who had to come to school with English not being their first language, and students with disabilities. We no longer have any of our student subgroups in the red category in this indicator, which is something to celebrate. And we attribute some of this progress to our continued focus on expanding college and career offerings on our campuses. Thanks to our work with Chancellor Davis before he was the chancellor, we have been increasing college access through a dual enrollment program with West Valley College, which brings free community college courses to all of our comprehensive school sites. So far this year, we are on track to almost double the number of students completing a community college course on one of our campuses. These students receive high school graduation credit and UCCSU college credit. And we're proud to see the partnership grow so we can create new possibilities for students, especially for those students who may not have had such an opportunity otherwise. Along with focusing on college preparedness, we are also expanding access to career and technical education. These are pathways that provide students the skills and confidence to thrive in industry through real-world experiences. We now have at least one career pathway at each of our school sites and a total of 13 different pathways across the district. These pathways give students industry experience in specific careers such as engineering, software development, and business marketing. Our district is also able to provide students the opportunity to attend classes at Silicon Valley Career Technical Education, or SVCTE. There, students can learn skills in several fields such as dental hygiene, construction, fire science, and veterinary science. Students can earn 30 high school credits and college credits through these hands-on training programs. While we're making notable progress when it comes to preparing our students for college and career, we still have more work ahead of us, and I want to share with you these areas of improvement. On the surface, yes, we receive green ratings across the board, but when you take a deeper look, the dashboard confirms persistent achievement gaps for several student groups when it comes to suspensions and academic performance. We need to and we will do more to improve outcomes for all students, especially those that have been traditionally underserved. We will continue working with the County Office of Education this year through the differentiated assistance process, which affords us the opportunity to take a close look at our results and complete root cause analyses to find out the best ways to improve student outcomes. The California Dashboard is just one way we're able to see areas of improvement and strength, but it doesn't give us the full picture of what life is like for a student in our district. The Board of Trustees took a very important step when they established the student board member position. And this school year, we have created and started the Superintendent's Student Advisory Committee. Through these avenues, we're able to gather critical insight from our students on the issues that they face every day, from the crush of too much homework to more serious issues like vaping and mental health challenges. These students are a powerful force, and they continue to remind me about the importance of elevating student voice in our community. So it's in that spirit that it's now my pleasure to introduce to you all our student board members, Ms. Emily Martinez Ramirez and Ms. Gitanjali Jain, to talk about the great work that they are doing with the Student Advisory Committee.
Good evening, everyone. As Dr. Bravo mentioned, my name is Emily Martinez Ramirez. I'm a current senior at Del Mar High School.
And I'm Gitanjali Jain, a junior at Branham High School. We're the student board members for the 2019-2020 school year.
As student board members, we've done and learned a number of things. Last semester, we visited students across the district at Boynton, Branham, Del Mar, Lee, Prospect, and Westmont.
During these visits, we discussed topics like mental health, academic supports, and vaping. We learned a lot from the students since they allowed us to build a better understanding of the school.
For example, at Boynton, all the students I spoke to were thankful for all the emotional and academic support that the teachers and administrators provide. All the students look forward to their graduation and their life after high school, a life where they can return to and give back to Boynton.
At Branham, all of the students love the work that Mr. Nguyen has done. They appreciate all of the efforts that he has put into the campus and the community to better the lives of everyone around him. They have also been enjoying the new buildings and their many features.
At Del Mar, the students recognize their coaches, teammates, and classmates for the family environment that they share. They also thank Principal Lopez for all the positive changes that he has brought onto campus.
At Lee, the students that I spoke to appreciate the numerous efforts to raise awareness about students' mental health. They also value Mr. Rowe and all of the changes that he has brought to the campus in regards to inclusiveness.
At Prospect, the students were passionate and shared the desire to destigmatize mental health. They also highlighted the great impact that Principal Pinza's presence has had on campus.
At Westmont, we learned that the students really appreciate the SVCTE classes that help students prepare for their careers and their future. They have noticed an increase in the teachers taking initiative on students' mental health and are appreciative of that.
We even learned that on very rare occasions, if time allows, Board President Gallagher enjoys spending time on TikTok. Overall, all of the students had the willingness to share their concerns and feedback with us. The ability of our peers to speak on the issues that matter most to them is an important life skill. This skill, self-advocacy, is one that CUHSD empowers its students to use and build upon.
Since students are the biggest stakeholders in their educations, students deserve to have a seat at the decision-making table. Without student input, the district was always guessing what the students wanted. But now, through the development and growth of the Superintendent's Student Advisory Council, there are more students participating in the decision-making process.
At our first meeting, the site representatives identified changes they would like to see in their schools and their districts in the district by the end of the year. The goals that the site representatives set were the first to call attention to the discrepancies between the students and the adults. These goals also set the focus for our monthly Superintendent Student Advisory Council meetings.
We had discussions about the district's budget, vaping, and the local control accountability plan. Above all, our greatest focus has been on academic supports for students.
Without the feedback of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, keeping track of everything that happens in the district would be difficult.
With that in mind, we would like to thank the district's students, parents, teachers, administrators, and trustees for all of the work that they are putting in to making our district better every single day.
The work we do would not be possible without all of you. Thank you.
So some of you might have thought to yourself, didn't Bravo call it a committee and they call it a council? They are right. I forgot. They corrected me yesterday, and I still didn't get it right. That's the youth for you, right? So an area of urgent priority that identified not only by our students, but our parents and staff is the need for more mental health supports. According to last year's climate survey, 43% of students indicated that during the last 12 months they had felt sad or hopeless almost every day for 2 or more weeks. 17% said they seriously considered suicide within the last 12 months. This is an area we cannot overlook. The safety and well-being of our students is a top priority. We need to ensure we're providing them the necessary support so they feel safe, cared for, and valued at school. The student board members talked about Mr. Nguyen at Branham. He's a social worker. And this year at Branham High School, we are piloting a full-time social worker position, and he's launched a wellness center that is receiving great response from the campus community. We also have counseling and support services for youth, or CASI counselors, that are available to see students at our schools. This year, we've begun providing teachers and staff with mental health first aid training so they can identify, understand, and respond to signs of mental health challenges. But even more must be done, and I'm thrilled to share with you that our students are dedicating themselves to this important work. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Lee High School student, Miss Lauren Mineta, president of the school's Bring Change to Mind Club. And she is leading, When she comes out, do it even louder. She is leading the change at her school to promote mental health awareness on campus.
Hello everyone, my name is Lauren Mineta and I am a senior at Lee High School. Tonight I would like to highlight the issue of mental health among teens and how a student-led club focused on mental health can change the dialogue across the campus. as well as the different administrative supports and how that can play into students' access to mental health. Mental health at its core is not only about mental illnesses such as anxiety and depression, but also about stress management, healthy eating, and getting enough sleep. It is very important for the students in the Campbell Union High School District to understand this concept and learn how to properly execute it. I know I didn't know how to do this a couple of years ago. My freshman year at Lee High School was very hard for me due to having just moved back from the East Coast at the beginning of 8th grade. Emotionally, I struggled every day. No one could see that I was silently suffering because it became very good at controlling what I wanted people to see. I didn't know the constant worrying and sadness I was feeling had a name or was a legitimate diagnosis. I felt so overwhelmed every day to the point where I stopped coming to school because it was all just too much for me. I felt alone. But with the support of my family and staff at school, I was able to finish out the school year and return my sophomore year. At the end of my sophomore year, when I was back on my feet again, I knew I needed to help the growing number of students who were suffering in silence like I once was. So I wanted something positive to come out of my experience, so I started a Bring Change to Mind Club. Bring Change to Mind is a national mental health organization focusing on destigmatizing mental health, educating, and advocating students across high school campuses. My goal of creating this club was to create a safe environment throughout school for people to feel as though they were accepted, heard, and able to get the support that they needed. As a club, it is important for us to help the students at our school who are struggling with mental health. From the recent WASC report, we learned that 3/4 of the students at our school are struggling with high levels of anxiety and stress. At the same time, 1/3 of the students at school are struggling with chronic sad or hopeless feelings. These statistics showcase the number of students who are suffering through the same thing that I once was. However, they also showcase the number of students that have the chance to get the help and support that they need to succeed. One of the most well-known things we were able to accomplish is the execution of our school's first annual Green Game. The concept of a Green Game came about from wanting to bring awareness to the topic of mental health and create a caring environment for students, athletes, and parents. We chose the first football game of the year to hold this event. Mrs. Butler and the leadership class helped make this dream a reality. On the day of the event, the whole football stadium was covered in mental health statistics and positive affirmations. We distributed honor beads that attendees wore throughout the event, with each bead representing a different aspect of mental health. During halftime, we read statistics about youth mental health as the band stood out on the field to provide a visual to the audience. It was important to relay to the students that they weren't alone and that there was support available to them if and when they needed it. We also developed crisis cards, which were distributed to the entire student body. I saw that students who needed support weren't able to get the help that they needed due to the understaffing of mental health across our campus. In order to create a first line of defense, and with our principal, Mrs. Butler's help, we created crisis cards that provided suicide and crisis hotlines, as well as text lines for a number of different demographics. Our goal in creating the cards was to ensure that students would be able to utilize the hotline numbers in a crisis if they weren't able to get immediate support. One thing that has greatly helped me, along with a number of our other students at school, is getting the constant message from our teachers and administrators that your mental health and well-being comes first. It's a very powerful message to hear as a student, knowing that you are being looked out for and cared for by your school. Mrs. Butler and the teachers at our school have done an amazing job at making their students feel welcomed and supported, especially when it comes to the topic of mental health. It was a huge step for our school to welcome a mental health club, but it was a step that Mrs. Butler was willing to take. She has been supported and rooting for the success of our club since the very beginning. And as a whole, we as the students of Lee High School are very lucky to have her as our principal, due to her understanding of mental health and empathy for the students who are also struggling. Mrs. Butler has led by example at our school, and in doing so, we have been able to work with our amazing advisor, Ms. Mosley, and the leadership class and their director, Mr. Rowe. As I close out my time at Lee High School, I hope that the district will continue to highlight the importance of students' mental health and well-being. The expectations that students feel they must live up to, whether it's achieving top grades or supporting their family and an after-school job to make ends meet, place an increasing demand on their mental health. I encourage the schools within our district to continue supporting student clubs that allow students a safe space to share their mental health journeys and know that they are not alone. One goal we can work towards is creating wellness centers in all of our schools, as well as hiring more mental health counselors. You can't always see when a student is struggling with their mental health, like me, but there is great hope and opportunity that we can create the environments that support students in our district so they can thrive. Thank you.
When we rehearsed that and I heard it for the first time, I was just like, I was blown away. I was blown away by the leadership and really the inspiring story that she has. I'm going to take it inside now and just say, without any prompting on my part, student speakers have given the shout outs to every single one of our school's principals. So school principals, stand up. Just get a clap or two in there. Mental health support is a clear priority for our community, and so is creating an environment in all our schools that is inclusive and welcoming of all students. Based on student feedback, last year we launched the Fairness and Belonging Committee, which is comprised of parents, teachers, and students. The committee members conducted focus group with students to learn more about their needs. This year we are implementing the committee's recommendations, including the mental health first aid training that we mentioned, anti-bias training for staff, and additional recruitment efforts for students to join AP and IB classes. At Prospect High School, students and staff are promoting an inclusive culture that values all students. The school was recently recognized by the Santa Clara County Office of Education's Inclusion Collaborative. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you, this is the alliteration for the night, Principal Paul Pinza of Prospect High School.
Thank you, Dr. Bravo. Good evening, everyone. I'm deeply honored to be a part of tonight's program. Like so many in our district, my affection for the Campbell High Schools runs deep. I got my start as an educator, as a teacher right here at Westmont. I've been a citizen in the district for nearly 20 years, and just this last August, I became a parent in the district as my son entered Branham as a freshman. Our district is a bit of an anomaly in this area in that we've actually experienced increases in enrollment, a trend that looks to continue for the next few years. But I'd like to zoom in a bit and take a look behind those numbers, because we all know that behind the aggregate statistics are individual students, each one bringing to our schools a unique narrative and a unique set of quirks, passions, and academic needs. So we also recognize in our district that the proportion of students with specialized needs is also growing. At Prospect, our students were collectively born in 50 different countries outside the United States. And nearly 1 out of 10 Prospect students are recent immigrants who are still developing their English language skills. Our special education population has grown by nearly 50% in just 2 years. And next year, we wouldn't be at all surprised if that cohort tops 200 students. In fact, when you add in students who don't quite qualify for special education services, 1 out of every 6 Prospect students is learning with some kind of disability. So supporting so many students with so many needs cannot be the job of just one department, like special education. And at Prospect, I'm proud to say that our entire school has invested in inclusion and support. We've built co-taught classes into our schedule, where specialists partner with teachers across subject areas to create a dynamic learning experience with embedded supports. And our teacher teams in English and biology have such a contagious passion that we're hopeful to expand our co-taught offerings next year into math and possibly even Spanish. We've also made an effort to be very strategic with our instructional aids, placing them in specific areas where students have historically struggled, in the hopes that we can support students through those challenges as they arise in real time and build their confidence along with their success. Our science department has also invested in concurrent interventions, bringing students in after school for support that is precisely tailored to the specific areas and skills where students have stalled. And these concentrated efforts end up having an effect campus-wide. I'm so proud of our students with disabilities who this past semester were more successful in chemistry, first year and second year integrated math, U.S. history, and government classes than they were a year ago. I said before that inclusion was a full team effort, and at Prospect, that very much includes many elements beyond the classroom. Our coaches, advisors, and administrators in activities and athletics have also embraced the challenge to make their classrooms, the gym, the fields, our clubs, and our dances just as welcoming to students from all walks of life. Last year, we only saw 17 students participate in athletics across the entire year. Last fall, we had that many in football. And we are on pace to triple those participation numbers in athletics. Our chapter of the national organization Best Buddies reaches out to some of our students with the greatest academic challenges, organizing dances and other social events for them so they can interact with a wide variety of students as well and feel that sensation of being welcomed, valued, and connected to our community at large. And in partnership with our PTSA, our dances have been transformed to include games and movies staged in outdoor spaces that are much more comfortable for students with sensory issues or anxiety around crowds. And thanks to those efforts, we more than doubled the number of students with disabilities who came to homecoming. When an entire school and an entire staff leans into inclusion, not just in the classroom, but in our very culture, we see remarkable results in places that we may not even anticipate. Here's one more great example. We added a dance class this year, and that class put on the first all-dance performance seen at Prospect High in over 20 years. Immediately, students of all backgrounds and abilities flocked to the course. Watching these young dancers move together and support each other on stage has been a true highlight of my year so far. This performance was a great reminder that every student has a powerful story to tell, and all we have to do is give them a stage and an opportunity to tell it. And when we do, all students reach, all students rise, and we will be blown away by what they can do. In closing, I cannot stress enough how much of a team effort this is. And I know that the work of our team at Prospect is reflective of the work that happens all across the district at all of our schools. Co-teachers and case managers, coaches and paraeducators. It takes all hands on deck to make sure that all students get the best. And I want to close by thanking you for the vital roles that you all play as parents and family members, alumni, volunteers, and community leaders and partners. Whether you run a PTSA for many years or you simply brought us a box of donuts one day, please know that your support gives us the fuel and lifts us up so that we can support all of our students in everything they do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Tonight, I walked you through both some achievements to celebrate and some areas we need to focus on. No achievements are going to be possible without dedicated teachers and staff, which we are lucky to have. And just I want to take a moment and recognize some of the representatives of our labor partners. Ms. Roma Martwick, the Vice President of the California School Employees Association, is right up there. And I understand that we have from the Campbell High School Teachers Association President, Kim, are you here? Kim McCarthy, there she is, Kim McCarthy. And Vice President, Mr. Nick Cortez. If you joined us for the State of the District last year, you may remember that we recognized staff members who embodied each of the district's guiding principles. This year, we are focusing on one of those guiding principles specifically, creating new possibilities. Let's watch a short video highlighting some of the great teachers and staff who are creating new possibilities for our students.
What's really unique about Branham is that there's like a startup mentality. If you have an idea and push for it, you get support for it. And you know that it didn't come from high up like this thing. It came from a teacher, and it's very organic, and that's what I really like about this school. So the Bear Witness classes create new possibilities for students, and it helps students understand that there is so much that's going on at this school beyond what they do in their classes or in their extracurriculars.
We have all kinds of students here. We have students who come back because they want their high school equivalency or they finish their high school diploma after 20 years. I have one student, for example, who was a single mom, raised 2 kids, worked 2 jobs, and second language learner, and is here, and she said, this is my time now. I mean, she's just taking full advantage of every opportunity here, and she's an inspiration to me, yeah.
I see a lot of inspiring students in my classrooms. I have students who arrive to the United States speaking little to no English, and within 4 years I'm able to exit them and they're able to speak proficiently just like any other student. So that to me is really exciting when we have students come in brand new, and in a few short years they're having conversations with me and they're passing their classes. Then they're in an on-level biology class, they're in an on-level US history or world history class, and they're surrounded by other EL students and native speakers as well. So it really helps them be around people whose first language is English, and they're hearing that language from native speakers. But then in their EL class, they do work with students who are at the same level with their English proficiency, and we're able to really help them acquire the language. So I think just making the program really focus in on getting those students ready for college and career, getting them ready for graduation, I think that really creates new possibilities for them.
I think that students learning about computers and technology is maybe one of the most important things for them in 2020 and beyond. I just think that that's really a bigger part of the foundational skills that they need to be successful, and not just to be successful, but to be able to choose what path they want to go on. It's just opens another door for them to pursue whatever it is they want to do in and outside of high school.
I'd say it's affected my life for the best. Before, back at my old high school, I was never in class. I always didn't want to be there, and then coming here really made me open my eyes and be like, look, this is the new world. You have to get everything together. So it really changed my life a lot. This school cares. They actually just put their focus on caring about what their students are going to do with their life.
At first, my mom didn't want me to come to Boynton at all, so it was kind of
rough, you know, but it's definitely changed the way my parents see myself, you know. They see that I'm capable of more bigger things. Create new possibilities in many ways. I honestly got a scholarship from here. I would have never got that anywhere else. They just really care about your future here.
The effective teachers and school staff are crucial in guiding students towards success. The single biggest threat to our continued improvement is the challenge of attracting and retaining great teachers and staff, especially amidst a nationwide teacher shortage and the lack of sufficient funding for schools. And there are few places in the country that are experiencing the impact of these challenges as they are here in Silicon Valley. According to an analysis of Census Bureau data, the high cost of housing in California has pushed thousands of teachers out of state. Education spending has not been reliable or consistent in addressing the rising cost of living in our area, and we cannot expect that to change with the current school funding structure. As you may know, our district is a community-supported district, which means we receive a majority of our funding from local property taxes and not from state funding based on the number of students we enroll. That is the way most districts in California are funded, not ours. This is because we receive slightly more money from property taxes than we would receive from the state. However, as our enrollment continues to increase, we will not receive any additional funding to compensate for the additional staff and resources that new students require. With this current funding structure, when we compare ourselves to other community-supported districts in our area, we receive the lowest amount of revenue on a per-student basis. For comparison, we are able to spend approximately $13,000 per student per year, while Los Gatos Saratoga is able to spend about $16,000 per student per year. We must look for new ways to increase funding so we can provide our teachers, staff, and students the necessary supports they deserve. One way we as a district are doing this is through the For the Kids Land Development Initiative, which paves the way to use district office property for business and residential development projects, which will generate much needed revenue for our educational programs for years to come. The second strategy is to ask voters to consider increasing local funding for our high schools to help retain great teachers and staff. The Board of Trustees approved placing Measure K, a parcel tax measure, on the March ballot. If approved by voters, Measure K could be used to recruit and retain highly qualified staff, provide student mental health and suicide prevention services, increase student access to counselors, and continue to allow us to provide career technical education. Moving forward, your support and partnership will be critical in assisting us in our efforts to seek the necessary resources to provide the quality education that is expected of us. I want to name 3 simple steps that you can take after tonight. First, educate yourself further about the upcoming vote-by-mail election in Santa Clara County and the changes that are resulting from the Voters' Choice Act. For the first time, all registered voters are receiving a mail-in ballot for the March 3rd election. Yay for voting. Vote and vote often. Voters can choose to submit their ballot by mail or return it to a vote center, or if you may have noticed on the way into the theater tonight, there's a box right in front of this theater where ballots can be submitted. If you're registered to vote, by now you should have received your ballot. And if you haven't received yours yet, please, please, please contact the Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters as soon as possible. I feel there's no greater privilege than the right to vote. And as an educator, I am a strong proponent for civic engagement because it allows the community to have a voice in their future. 120 years ago, when the district began, probably more than half of the people in this room wouldn't have had the right to vote. So take the privilege now to get your voice heard in the community. You have until February 18th to register to vote in this election if you haven't already. Second, I want to encourage you to visit the district showcase in the cafeteria after this program is over to learn more about how you can give back to the CUHSD community through supporting the CUHSD Educational Foundation. The CUHSD Educational Foundation is an all-volunteer nonprofit organization recently founded and run by a dedicated group of parents. Foundation funds are providing for teacher innovation grants, student empathy grants, and make district-wide college and career fairs possible. We are forever grateful for their dedication, and could some of the, I think some of the leaders of the Ed Foundation are here, if you could stand up. And I always have to say this, but one of the things that just so impresses me about their leadership is for many of them, they're providing leadership in this foundation, and their students don't go here anymore. They recently graduated, and they're doing things with knowing that their own kids aren't going to receive from it, but because they know the work is important. Finally, stay informed on CUHSD News by following us on social media at MyCUHSD on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also sign up to receive our community newsletter at our website, cuhsd.org. I'm proud to end the program with a performance by Westmont High School's theater students who, under the direction of Mr. Jeff Bangford, will be performing a song from their upcoming musical, Copacabana. The song is entitled, no, it's not Copacabana. The song is entitled Just Arrived, and it's about pursuing your dreams no matter how big. And I hope we can provide our students with the courage, knowledge, and skills to construct bright futures so they can pursue their dreams.
Okay, the song is about the world-famous Copacabana nightclub. It's a dance club. No, it's the glamorous Copa of years ago. Yeah, it's 1947, the war is over, the boys are back, everything is new again, and it seems like everybody's in love. And they all live in a world full of color. No gray, no beige, no brown, just like one of those MGM movie musicals, all in glorious Technicolor. Yes, but who's there? Well, you gotta start with a girl, right? But it can't just be any girl. It's gotta be the girl of your dreams. A girl with music in her name. Her name was Lola. She was from Tulsa. Just arrived, Grand Central Station, a suitcase in hand, and a dream in her heart.
Just arrived, track 17, all the way from Tulsa, Oak Club, nowhere. Where's my chauffeured limousine? Where's the marching band? Just in time to take the town, and though my knees are shaking, I'm making my stand. It all starts now. I can see my name in neon. I won't allow any cloud to rain on me. Don't ask me how, but before too just arrived, track 24, all the way from St. Dakota. Oh, I'm still a little green. When I left marching past the open door, wonder what I'll find. Just imagine here I am, a girl from soda jerk. The kid they all make fun of is one of a kind. It all starts now. Look who's currently appearing. This girl's a wow. All the magazines agree. I'll take my bow, and the world will all be cheering just for me. New York or bust, I'm just arrived. Hey, somebody said they're auditioning for South Pacific. Say. Red lily lookers and I look terrific. Hey, my moment. I know it, I can taste it, and I sure ain't gonna waste it. And it's time I faced it. It all starts now. Right now. I can see my name in blazing neon, and how no way any cloud would dare to rain on me. Oh, that's me. They're cheering just for me, gathering dust. I've just survived. Now New York or bust. I've just arrived. Hey world, I've just arrived.
See more. Well, you can see more right here in this theater starting March 20th. March 20th is the opening, the full production of Copacabana. So I hope you come back for that show. It's not just on the 20th, that's when it opens. So more dates are available. And now I want to thank you once more for coming, and I hope that you can join us at the district showcase in the cafeteria. And there is snacks. So for those of you who are hungry, you don't have to run home, because we do have some food to keep you ready to go and learn more about the district. Thank you very much.